let it build boost. What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Volkswagen Jetta GLI 40th Anniversary Edition. Huge thank you to David Roach over at Safford Volkswagen of Fredericksburg, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Jetta or any Volkswagen product, then I'll be sure to have David's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. I'm wearing a t-shirt in mid-February, so if that doesn't tell you that today is the perfect day to film some review videos, well, then I guess I don't know what to say. But just like usual, first, I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta GLI 40th Anniversary Edition. And this particular one has been painted in the optional $395 pure gray. I wanted to preface this video by saying for 2024, Volkswagen introduced the 40th Anniversary Edition to the Jetta lineup, and now you get more standard safety features with IQ Drive. This one being the 40th Anniversary Edition, as standard, you get LED projector headlights with high beam control, as well as LED daytime running lights and standard turn signals. Taking a step to the left, I'm going to try to keep my shadow out of this, but this is what the front end of this thing looks like. The gray works very well with all the gloss black accents that you get with the 40th Anniversary Edition. So with that in mind, you get a satin black front grille with your Volkswagen logo located at the center of it. You also get some gloss black trim above and below the grille. And then you may notice on the left hand side of your Volkswagen logo is where you will find your red GLI script. And then you also get this red accent colored trim piece that runs across the center of the bumper that accents these pieces down here nicely. Now coming down just a little bit, you get a satin black lower grille as well as gloss black outer grills with that red accent colored trim. There's a view on that side. Here's a view of it in the direct sunlight. And then finishing things off here at the front end, you get this satin black front lip down here, and that kind of about does it for what we got going on here at the front. I'm gonna give you a front shot here. Here's a front 3/4 shot. Very Audi-esque, I feel like, kind of in this area, and then also at the back, which I'll show you here in a minute. But coming on down the side, you can see you get the gloss black and red GLI 40 fender vents, or fender badges I should say. And then I wanted to go over a couple mechanical things up here at the front end. So with the 40th Anniversary Edition, you get an adaptive suspension. You also get a limited slip front differential and an XDS cross differential system, which is to help improve handling and traction, which is definitely nice. So also with the 40th Anniversary Edition, you get these exclusive 18-inch gloss black wheels that are wrapped in 225/45 Hankook Kinergy GT all-season tires. I'll give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires here real quick. That is what they look like. Sorry, it might not be the greatest view, but then you also do get the red brake calipers as well. So you can see you get a ton of accent color trim here on the exterior in red. By the way, also, as standard, you do get rain sensing wipers. And then working my way into these side view mirrors, the 40th Anniversary Edition gives you the gloss black mirror caps, but you also do get integrated turn signals, and these mirrors are also heated, manual folding, and you will find your blind spot monitoring on the outsides of both of your side view mirrors. I'm going to try to pick it up about right there. Now, taking a step back, here's a little side profile shot of this thing. So you may notice you do get satin black window trim. The 40th Anniversary Edition gives you the gloss black door handles. You also do get keyless access. Just keep in mind the keyless access function is only on your front 2 door handles. The rear 2 door handles do not get the keyless access function. And then you also get these satin black side skirts at the bottom of all of your passenger doors. And I will give you a view of them here. That's what they look like. Just add to the sporty appearance here on the side. Here's another view of them. And then here's a rear 3/4 shot. That is what she looks like. Not the greatest lighting here at the back, but it is what it is. And then you do get a gloss black shark fin antenna. You get a rear window defroster. Your third brake light is located there. With the 40th Anniversary Edition, you get this gloss black deck lid spoiler, and as standard, you also get LED taillights. And then taking a step to the right, it looks very Audi to me here at the rear end, especially when you get down to here. But before getting into that kind of stuff, Obviously, you may notice that you do have your Volkswagen logo. You have your red GLI logo on the lower left-hand side of your trunk. And then just beneath your Volkswagen logo, offset to the right a little bit, is where you'll find your backup camera. And then if you put your hand just underneath the Volkswagen logo and you pull up, that is how you open up the trunk. By the way, you get keyless access on your front 2 door handles as well as on the trunk as well, as long as you have your key fob in your pocket. Now, coming back to here, this will reveal a couple of options. So back here, this vehicle has been optioned with the $296 Monster Mats, trunk liner, and cargo blocks. Monster Mats are basically just like all-weather floor mats. And then the cargo liner is what we got going on here. It's like a reversible one, so you got carpeting on this side, and then you have like rubberized feeling type of stuff on the other side. And then this vehicle has also been optioned with the $110 first aid and roadside assistance kit, which is what we got going on in here. It kind of gives you a view of what you get in there. You get 33 items. That kind of gives you an idea of what you get. And then if you lift up on this and you keep lifting, if you go underneath here, that will reveal your temporary spare tire, your tow hook, your jack, and all the necessities to either get pulled out of a snowbank or, you know, fix a flat or replace the tire, excuse me. And then you get a decent amount of storage space. Honestly, you have a good amount of storage space here in the size of, or in the trunk area, considering the size of this sedan. I've done a video with a CT5, Cadillac CT5 the other day, and this has a bigger trunk than that, and they're very similar exterior dimension wise between the two vehicles, even though the Cadillac is, you know, more expensive, fancier, etc. But if you pull on this and you pull on this, that is going to drop your second row seats, and then you get some additional storage space, about 3.5, 4 feet of storage space when you drop those second row seats. But closing the trunk, let's finish things off here at the rear end. So coming down, you get 2 reflectors back here. You also get a satin black rear valance and a dual exhaust system. I'm going to try to give you a better view, kind of get the camera to pick that up better. And the exhaust area really reminds me of like an Audi RS3 with the way that the ovals on the tips are shaped. And then I also wanted to show you, because you may be thinking, you know, what kind of fuel does this thing take? And it does take regular 87 octane, which is definitely nice to see, but you do not get a capless filler neck. But that kind of about does it for the exterior of the Jetta GLI. Let me know what your opinions are on the looks of this thing in the comments down below. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks sporty, and it comes at an affordable price, which is definitely nice to see. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder that makes 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. This one's been optioned with the $800 7-speed DSG for a 0 to 60 time in 6 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 26 miles per gallon in the city, 36 miles per gallon on the highway for 30 miles per gallon combined with front-wheel drive. I wanted to say that this does come standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, which number one, I think is really cool to still see offered in a sedan in 2024. However, I have not driven one with the 6-speed. I've only driven one with the DSG, and you cannot go wrong with the DSG. I can't speak to how the manual feels. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, if you've learned anything from the video, I'd appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. The likes and comments look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, as mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, press on this button right here, and it will unlock. You can press that very same button again and it will lock right back up. But this one being the 40th anniversary edition, you get some chrome accenting on your key fob, and then going over the functions on the key fob, you have your lock function, your trunk pop function, your unlock function, and your panic function right here. But pressing the unlock button, let's see what the interior of the 40th anniversary edition has to offer. So this is the Titan black cloth interior, and I'll get into this stuff here in a second. We are going to start with the door panel. So this is what the door panel looks like. You get some vinyl wrapping at the top, then you have your unlock and your lock functions surrounded by some piano black trim. I think this trim right here looks really cool because it's like a mix of red, gray, gloss black. It just looks really cool and sporty. Then you get some leatherette here with some red accent colored stitching. Same thing here, nicely padded armrest. And then when it comes to the controls down in here, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up all that well, but basically you have your side view mirror controls here. And then if you basically push back like that, that is going to turn your heated side view mirrors on or off. You get automatic up and down windows at all four corners. This button is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. This right here is going to pop open the trunk. And then you get a speaker here. You get a little bit of storage space down in here. And then with the 40th anniversary edition, you get the GLI 40 door sill. You get a manually adjustable driver's seat, a manually adjustable front passenger seat, and as standard, these seats are heated. I'm gonna close the trunk here real quick because I popped it open. But let's step on into the interior and see what the interior of this has to offer. But first, let's take a listen to what the door sounds like when it closes. Now let's fire it up. That is what this thing sounds like when it fires up. Now I'm just gonna walk you throughout the entire interior. So coming down to here, this is your headlight control stock. Obviously all the way to the left is off. That is headlights automatic. That is parking lights on, and all the way to the right is headlights in the always on position. Personally, for me, I like to leave it in the automatic position. I think the vehicle does a good job at turning the lights on and off when need be. And then coming over to here, if you flip this down, that gives you access into your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, meaning you can push the steering wheel away from you. You can bring the steering wheel towards you, and the steering wheel also moves up and down. And then once you find your comfortable position, all you have to do is just lock it right back into position, just like that. But now, let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. Obviously, this is also your high beam control stock, but then you have a button on the end of this stock right here that if you press it, will pop up your assist system. So basically, if you wanted to navigate throughout that, you have this button here. You can go throughout and you can turn your lane keeping system on. You can either have adaptive cruise control on or just standard cruise control. Then you have your blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and your front assist. So that is what this button does. It pops up your safety features. Now zooming back out, this is what the steering wheel looks like. And again, this one being the 40th anniversary edition, you get a nice little 40 on the bottom of the steering wheel. This is also a leather wrapped steering wheel. It's got a nice little flat bottom design to it. Feels very nice in your hands, very sporty feeling. And just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the Jetta. You also get your steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. So you got your downshift paddle on the left, you got your upshift paddle here on the right. Come to this side, as standard with this vehicle, you do get adaptive cruise control with stop and go. And then you also do get IQ Drive, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So you do get the semi-automated driving assistant stuff, as well as all the other stuff you can read right here. So these are for like your driver assistance settings / cruise control stuff. And then down here you have your volume controls. One thing that's nice is you can either slide your finger like that to volume up, slide your finger to volume down, or you can just press it. So it slides, and then you can also press it at the same time. So I think that's pretty cool. And then on this side of the steering wheel, this is to speak to the vehicle. And then these are to navigate throughout different menus. This will bring you in between different things, which I'll show you here in a second on your digital gauge cluster. This also is for your digital gauge cluster. And then if you swipe like that, that is to go forwards on a track. If you swipe like that, that is going to go backwards on a track, or you can just press it forwards or press it backwards. So you have the kind of variability of what you want to do there, which I think is nice. And then obviously you also have your windshield wiper control stock here. By the way, rain sensing wipers are standard. I'm going to mention that again. But moving into our dash. So on the left-hand side, you have your coolant temperature gauge. On the right-hand side, you have your fuel gauge. Obviously looks exactly like what you get in an Audi. But this does have a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster as standard. And this is what the gauge cluster looks like here in normal mode. There are 3 different views you can go throughout here, but this is the view that I want to start with because this is the view that I would drive this vehicle in. So on the left, you have your tachometer, you have your transmission status stuff, and then on the right, you have your speedometer with your digital speedometer readout at the center. And then at the top, you got your compass, you got your time, driver assistance stuff, and then you also have your ambient exterior temperature. Then down here, you have your trip monitor stuff, and then you have your cruise control stuff down there. And right now it's on the fuel economy screen. Again, if you wanted to go in between the different views that you have, you'd press this view button right here, and then that will bring you into, this is like your clean screen, so you can see transmission status stuff, the speed, and then just this stuff at the center. If you wanted to adjust what you see, you can just click to the right and you can go in between these different screens. So you can see your vehicle status stuff, driving data, driver assistance systems, compass, Apple CarPlay. So you can put your Apple CarPlay stuff here on the screen if that is what you wanted to do, which is pretty cool. And then if you click over to the right one more time, you get your telephone, vehicle status, etc. And then last but not least, this is the last view screen you have. So you get to time since start, and then all of these different, fuel range, Apple CarPlay, etc. And then you can go back in. Again, this is the screen that I would personally use because, I think it looks the best, and I'd rather just have that on my screen. And then you can also, again, toggle throughout all of those different screens. They're the same screens, it's just laid out just a little bit differently. And that's kind of about it for the digital gauge cluster. It looks kind of intimidating to use, but it's actually very easy to use, and it doesn't really take more than like 5 minutes of getting used to this and being able to use it. So definitely nice to see. And then coming over to here, as standard, you do get an 8-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. So one thing that's interesting is that if you go into your home screen, it does say navigation here, even though this vehicle has not been optioned with navigation. So if you click on it, it says the vehicle is not equipped with navigation. So it's like, okay, well, why don't you not put the navigation thing right there? But anyways, on the outsides of the screen, you have like your radio shortcut, your media shortcut, your volume control knob. You can see how the volume control knob, like the power button moves, like it spins. And then if you click on that, that is going to turn the screen to a clock. That's going to turn it back on. And then you have your phone shortcut, voice shortcut, your app shortcut, your sound shortcut, which is going to bring you into your different sound settings here. Then you have this tuning control knob. This is going to bring you into your car settings. You can see this is like your performance monitor. You can also go into the selection, and you can see digital cockpit, driving vehicle status, all those different things here. So I think if you, if you click right here, you can go in between these different things. So anyways, then the menu button is basically your home button. So that is what the menu button does. So I will show you, this is the home screen. You can see all of the different things. You can pop up your vehicle stuff by clicking right there. It brings you back into like that car screen. You can go into your assistance settings here. So if you click that Golf, you can see you can adjust the distance. You can go, right now the distance is set to medium. So if you click that medium, you can go into close, very close, etc. And then you can also click right here, front assist. You can click this. This is your blind spot monitoring, which is active at the moment. It's just a nice little display that makes it very easy and kind of gives you a visualization of what you're going through. And then if you swipe over to this screen, you can bring your climate control stuff here on the screen. So if I clicked this, I'm going to turn this on. That is what it looks like when it is on. And then you also have the physical climate controls here on the bottom as well, which is definitely nice to see. But coming back up to the screen, that's kind of about it for what we got, except if you swipe down from up top here, this is what it looks like. So you can adjust the brightness of it and all the different settings there. And that's all I'm going to go throughout that screen. It's easy to use. 2 HVAC vents down here let you know if the passenger is buckled or not. Then you got your hazard button that flashes with the hazards. Again, like I mentioned, you do get physical climate controls, and this is a dual zone climate control system. By the way, it is an automatic climate control system. And if you have it on, it will display the temperatures both there and there, which is cool. And then let's say, you wanted to have it on, and then you adjust where you want the air to blow. Right now it's blowing on my face. You can see that it is illuminated. Now it's blowing on my face and my feet, and then you can see you can turn that on and it's going to recirculate the air. And then on the outsides of these buttons, you have your heated seat function. So if you click on that, you get heated seats. Both get 3 levels of adjustability, fan speed, etc. Then over here you get 2 USB-C ports. You get a wireless charging pad as standard. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let's see how that fits in the wireless charging pad. You can see it fits down in there, no problem. Then you get a 12-volt power outlet down in here. you get your engine stop start function. You pull up on this, that is going to engage your parking brake. So now the parking brake is engaged. If you press on the brake pedal and you push down, that is going to disengage the parking brake. By the way, take a look at the sport pedals. They look awesome, super elegant, super sporty, super, you know, just premium looking. This is going to turn the auto stop start system on or off. This person's kind of erratic, the way that she's like parking and unparking, and people are crazy. Then if you click this mode button right here, that is going to bring you in between your different driving modes. So you have your eco mode, you have your comfort mode, you have your normal mode, you have your sport mode, and your custom mode, which you can adjust yourself. And you can, you know, DCC is your suspension, whether you want it to be in comfort mode, normal mode, or sport mode. Again, you do get the adaptive suspension, you get the steering feel, front differential lock, normal or sport. So you can go in between all of these different settings for your drive modes, which I think is really cool. And then you also have your traction control on or off button there. You get 2 cup holders, and with the 40th anniversary edition, it says 1984 and then GLI. And then you get a spot you could set your key fob. You could also set, you know, a phone down in there if you wanted to. You get a nicely padded armrest, some red accent colored stitching, and when you open this thing up, it will reveal a USB-C port. I'd say about 8 inches of depth, and then maybe, you know, 10 to 12 inches here, and then probably like, you know, 7 there. And then closing that back up, you can see that, so you can raise your armrest up just a little bit if you push these up. So that's pretty cool. And then one thing also about the 40th anniversary edition is that you get these GLI 40 tags on your seats. So you can see that looks like. And then same kind of cool trim here with the red, the gray, the black. You do not get a lockable lower glove box, but you actually have quite a bit of storage space in the glove box, which is definitely nice to see. Very good amount of storage space in there. Then you get an auto dimming rearview mirror. You get your driver light, your passenger light. The lights are halogen. And then if you press this button right here, this is whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the door. So right now when I open up the door, the interior lights will not turn on. But if I push that in, now when I open up the doors, the interior lights will turn on. And then if I click this, this is to turn on, I believe, the rear dome light. I'm not sure 100% what that does. But okay, so if I click here, yeah, this is to turn the rear dome light on, but you can also have that function off. So if I click this, even though I'm clicking it, the rear passenger can have that set to off, so it's not gonna turn on when you press that. So up top here, you get your roadside assistance buttons, and then you open this thing up. You get a vanity mirror, but you do not get a vanity light. You get a spot you could set your registration, and then these slide forwards and backwards for when the sun is in those awkward positions. Driver gets a no poop handle. The front passenger also gets a no poop handle. And when it comes to seat comfort, these seats are comfortable. I would say maybe they're on the touch of the firmer side, but they're still very comfortable to me. Some people, I could see how some people may find these maybe not uncomfortable, but maybe not the most comfortable. I think they are comfortable, but everybody's got their own opinions, you know, with everything in life, right? So now I'm just gonna throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look at whatever you wanna take a look at, but basically I am just gonna highlight the MSRP. I would highly suggest you take a look though around the safety stuff and go through all of that stuff, because it does come with a lot as standard. But I'm gonna highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Jetta GLI is spec'd is $30,836. I think that is a really good deal, because this vehicle is very nice, but it's also very fun to drive, and I think it looks great, looks super sporty, but it drives very well, and you get an adaptive suspension for 30 grand. So I mean, you can't complain really about the price if you get an adaptive suspension and all of those different things, you know, with the front end, with the locking differential, the limited slip differential, you know. The Kia K5 I've done a video with, it was a GT. It felt very quick, but it had an open diff. It didn't have a limited slip, so the limited slip does make a big difference performance-wise. If you're actually going to be, you know, pushing this thing around turns, you're going to be launching it and stuff like that. That stuff actually does help. So anyways, this is what the rear door panel looks like. Again, you get automatic up and down windows here, and this is as far as they go down. And if you press that back up, the window will go back up. You can see automatic up. Then you get a little bit of storage space here. You get a speaker down there. This is what these rear seats look like. I'm gonna move this thing out of the way. and I'm gonna step on into these rear seats. You get these fancy carpeted floor mats as standard. They say GLI on them, and then you get some of the red accenting on the outsides of them. I like the way they look. O-poop handle, a spot you can set your dry cleaning, another spot you can set your dry cleaning. You do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You do not have any connectivity back here, but you do get a seat back pocket behind the front passenger seat. And then on this side, you get the same stuff with the O-poop panel, the spot you can set your dry cleaning. You can also set your dry cleaning there. You get a dome light back here as well. It is halogen, as you may be able to tell. And then you also do get a center fold down armrest. You get 2 cup holders and whatever this is in the middle. I wouldn't call that a cup holder, but that is what that looks like. Nicely padded armrest. I am 5'9", and when it comes to headroom, I'd say, I don't know, I probably have an inch or so of headroom, maybe 2. But if I needed a little bit more, I could just slouch a little bit, and then, you know, you can make up a little bit of headroom there. But me sitting straight up, let's talk about the knee and the leg room. I've actually got quite a bit of knee and leg room. Here's another view of my knee and leg room. And then that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in these fronts, or excuse me, in these rear seats. So, you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive. I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video. The GLI does come with launch control. If you wanted to launch it, you got to pull back, go into sport mode, press the traction off button there, and then all you have to do, push your foot on the brake, floor it, let it build boost, and hold on for traction. So that is one thing. You might want to put some stickier tires on this thing if you do end up, you know, wanting to do launch control and stuff like that. But I do think that it is really cool that this does come with launch control as factory. You know what I mean? I think that is really, really cool. Now, here's another little acceleration for you in manual mode. Here's paddle shifter response. So I wanted to speak to the responsiveness of the paddle shifters. So the paddle shifters are actually pretty responsive. However, you know, let's say you're kind of being lazy with the throttle, right? You're not actually trying to go super fast, but you still want to drive it in manual mode, which I'll show you what it does. It's kind of lazy with the shifts if you're lazy with the throttle, if that makes sense. So right now we're in second gear, just a regular acceleration. Listen. There's a little bit of a delay, not much, but a little bit of a delay that I've noticed. But let's say, you know, you're in second gear and you want to get on it, right? Well, watch. They're right there, right there. So if you're like aggressive on the throttle, it's going to be aggressive with the shift. If you're lazy with the throttle, it's going to be a little bit lazy with the shifts. So just keep that in mind. You're like, well, you know, why is it not shifting, you know, right off the bat if I'm just in drive and I'm not really getting on it? Well, there's your answer. It's not going to do it unless you're aggressive with the throttle. Then it's going to know what you want. It's going to know you want those fast shifts, but you really got to be on the throttle in order to get the fast shift if you're in manual mode. Now, I wanted to say that this has a dual clutch. That's what the DSG is. The dual clutch is awesome. I love a dual clutch transmission personally. And, you know, one thing I wanted to mention about the dual clutch is that it drives like a dual clutch. So, you know, when you first get on the throttle from a stop, you kind of feel like it's engaging almost in a way. You can kind of feel it if you're paying attention to it, if you know what it's doing, which I like. You know, it gives me the feeling of like, kind of like engagement when I'm driving, you know, because Lamborghinis have this kind of transmission, and they feel the exact same way when they're engaging. So I think it's pretty cool that you kind of get that lineage. You know, obviously Volkswagen owns Lamborghini, so the transmission feels very similar. Obviously it's a dual clutch, so they're all going to do that kind of thing, but I don't know, I just think that it is kind of cool. Here's a little acceleration going into a turn, nothing crazy. This thing would make for a great daily driver. Reason being is that it is very comfortable. It's got the adaptive suspension. So if you want to throw it into turns and stuff like that, you can put it into sport mode. The suspension is going to tighten up. But if you just want to do, you know, regular driving, it will do that comfortably as well. I would say normal mode's kind of more on the confirm side, but here's a regular acceleration-ish. A little bit more. I love hearing the blow off. You get a little bit of a whoosh when you let off, and that's just kind of characteristic of turbo motors. But this motor is great. I feel like this thing is very, very quick. I know it's got a 6-second 0 to 60 time, which in today's day and age is slow, but it's really not slow. Like, I feel like everybody is so jaded nowadays with 0 to 60 times and horsepower figures and stuff that, you know, a lot of times, especially on the internet, people are going to be like, oh, that's slow, that's slow. It's like, well, have you driven one? Have you felt what it feels like in person? Because this does not feel slow here in person, even though on paper in 2024 this would be considered slow-ish. I think, you know, to call a 6-second 0 to 60 times slow is crazy. By the way, right now I'm in drive, normal mode. Watch what happens when I go into sport mode. Watch the RPMs. I'm not touching the throttle. It raises up the RPMs and the creep becomes more aggressive. It comes more aggressive, like, you know, when you let off of the brake in a vehicle and the vehicle starts to creep forward. Well, the creep is more aggressive when you're in sport mode as compared to when you're in drive, just because it raises up the RPM. So when the, you know, transmission is engaging, it's a little bit more, you know, faster going forward, creeping forward. That's what creep means, is when you're creeping forward. So suspension, again, it is on the firmer side, even in normal mode, but it's not like crazy, and you're gonna love the firmness when you're, you know, going around turns and stuff like that, because this thing handles very well. It's got good handling. So definitely appreciate the handling in this. And, you know, if you're looking for a daily driver that's fun but also efficient at the same time, this is a good candidate for that. You know, it's comfortable, it's quick, the sound system is good. This has the standard 6-speaker sound system, and it actually sounds like really good, and it's actually kind of surprising. I always miss this turn, but recently I feel like I've been getting better about not missing it. So, you know, seat comfort is comfort. I love the way the seats are comfortable. I love the way that the digital gauge cluster looks. You know, this is how manufacturers do it right, in my opinion. You know, you have the digital gauge cluster, you have the infotainment screen, but you also have the physical controls down here for your climate control. You have the physical controls down here for, you know, your drive mode selector. You have your physical controls for, you know, just the different things that you want to have easy access to. You have, which it seems like on a lot of new vehicles, they're putting everything throughout like a big screen, and they're not giving you the physical controls, which in my opinion I think is a mistake. And you know, some people may disagree with that, but here's a nice little acceleration for you. You know how you can think of this car? You can think of this basically as like a Volkswagen GTI as a sedan. That's kind of pretty much exactly what this is. So it feels very similar to the way that the GTI drives. It feels very similar to the way that the GTI builds power. Oh wait, that's because they share the same engine and the same transmission, pretty much. So this is basically like a Volkswagen GTI, but in a sedan. And I don't know which one I like better, to be honest, because I do like the way that the GTI looks, but I also like the way that this thing looks. So I don't know. Here's another acceleration. Get on it a little bit. Down low, it's got great power. The brakes are also good. Actually, I would say the brakes are in between good and great. They could maybe have a little bit more bite, but honestly, they have really good bite at the top. So I like the low end torque. And one thing that's kind of cool is that because this is a turbo motor, you know, when you get on it at lower RPMs, you can feel it start to go into boost about at 2100, 2200 RPM is when you start feeling the boost beginning to build. You know, it's a cool feeling if you're a car enthusiast to feel it build power. I know some of you will be like, yeah, man, I love that. And some of you will be like, I don't care. I just want something that looks cool and drives great. And this thing looks cool. It drives great. Now when it comes to the steering feel is pretty numb. You know, you can't really feel anything through it. But I mean, this thing not being a track weapon, this thing not being a vehicle you really care about steering feel with, I don't think it really matters personally. It would be nice to have a little bit of steering feel, but again, it doesn't matter. This is going to be a daily driver, and with the lack of the steering feel comes a very easy to turn vehicle when you're pulling into a parking spot and stuff like that. Like, you can literally turn this thing easily. But then also the steering feel, it's not too light, which I like. It's got a really nice weight to it. So again, it's just a great vehicle. It's comfortable, it's efficient, it's quick. So if you're looking for something that's comfortable, efficient, and quick, I would definitely put this on your short list. I would definitely go out and take a test. That thing looks awesome. Take a test drive on in one of these, because I think you'll see exactly what I'm saying is exactly, I think, what you'll be feeling if you do end up taking one of these for a spin. Yeah, it doesn't have leather. Yeah, it doesn't have a power front driver's seat, you know, which kind of stinks, but really, does that matter? See what I'm saying? The low end torque on this thing is great. But overall, great vehicle. If you're interested in one, I'll be sure to have David's information in the description box down below. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, as well as hit that subscribe button. Again, the likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you do those 3 things. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.